Hi, Warrior. We are going to be highlighting the Book of Mormon, Another Testament of Jesus Christ, Mosiah chapter 24. This is what we highlight. I really need to print these out and so that it looks better. Right now we're going to read our Shielded Stillness card. Don't mind my crazy thumbs. No, I got to get a manicure or something. Okay, here we go. Says, can we see? Here we go. Show me how to be a peacemaker in my own heart. Yes. Yes. This is good because I feel like sometimes in our hearts we rage and create chaos, or allow Satan to create chaos in our own hearts. And so this is so good. What a good reminder. Okay. Here we go. Let's zoom in. All right. Amulon persecutes Alma and his people. They are to be put to death if they pray. The Lord makes their burdens seem light. He delivers them from bondage, and they return to Zarahemla about 145 to 120 BC. By the way, we are reading this with my daughter in the cartoon book. Book of Mormon. Okay. And it came to pass that Amulon did gain favor in the eyes of the king of the Lamanites. Therefore, the king of the Lamanites granted unto him that his brethren and they should be appointed teachers over his people, yea, even over the people who were in the land of Shemlon, and in the land of Shiloh, and in the land of Amulon. Ugh. So the King Noah's priests get to be teachers again. This is bad. Do not do that. Don't they know? Okay. For the Lamanites had taken possession of all these lands. Therefore, the king of the Lamanites had appointed kings over all these lands. And now, the name of the king of the Lamanites was Laman. Go figure. Being called after the name of his father, and therefore he was called King Laman. And he was king over a numerous people. And he appointed teachers of the brethren of Amulon in every land which was possessed by his people. And thus the language of Nephi began to be taught among all the people of the Lamanites. Okay. And they were a people friendly one with another. Nevertheless, they knew not God. Neither did the brethren of Amulon teach them anything concerning the Lord, of course, because they're wicked priests of King Noah, right? Old wicked priests of King Noah. The Lord their God, neither the law of Moses, nor did they teach them the words of Abinadi, which is just sad, right? But they taught them that they should keep their record and that they might write one to another. And thus the Lamanites began to increase in riches and began to trade one with another and waxed great and began to be a cunning and wise people as to the wisdom of the world. Yea, a very cunning people, delighting in all manner of wickedness. Okay. And plunder, except it were among their own brethren. And now it came to pass that Amulon began to exercise authority over Alma and his brethren, and began to persecute him, and caused that his children should persecute their children. Ugh, the bullies. It begins with the parents, don't you know? Okay. For Amulon knew Alma that he had been one of the king's priests. Yeah, you remember. And that it was he that believed in the words of Abinadi and was driven out before the king. And therefore he was wroth with him, for he was subject to King Laman. Yet he exercised authority over them and put tasks upon them and put taskmasters over them. Ooh, that's bad. And it came to pass that so great were their afflictions that they began to cry mightily to God. And Amulon commanded them that they should stop their cries, and he put guards over them to watch them, that whosoever should be found calling upon God should be put to death. Oh my days. So it's not bad to call on God, but it's bad to put people to death who want to have that religion. And it came to pass that the voice of the Lord came to them in their affliction, saying, we're going to pause there because we're going to do our reverse highlighting for the verses that have Christ mentioned. We will highlight those. Oh, hold on. Wait, did I read this part? I hope I did. Anyways, and Alma and his people did not raise their voices to the Lord their God, but did pour out their hearts to him and did know the thoughts of their hearts. That's what it is. Okay, so maybe I didn't read that. And sometimes we do that, where we don't feel safe enough to say prayer, maybe in front of people or in a public setting, but we need help. And the Lord knows, because we can pour out our hearts to him, and he did know the thoughts of their hearts, right? I think it's going to be good. All right, and then Abinadi right here. And then this is the one that we're going to highlight there. All righty. Okay, so then it says, lift up. And we'll zoom in here. Lift up your heads and be of good comfort, for I know of the covenant which ye have made unto me, and I will covenant with my people and deliver them out of bondage. Okay, so that's what the Lord was telling him. I know. Okay. And I will also ease the burdens which are put upon your shoulders, that even you cannot feel them upon your backs, even while you are in bondage. And this will I do, that you may stand as a witness for me hereafter, and that ye may know of a surety that I, the Lord God, do visit my people in their afflictions. That scripture is so sweet to me. And now it came to pass that the burdens which were laid upon Alma and his brethren were made light. Yea, the Lord did strengthen them, that they could bear up their burdens with ease, and they did submit cheerfully and with patience to all the will of the Lord. And it came to pass that so great was their faith and their patience, that the voice of the Lord came unto them again, saying, Be of good comfort, for on the morrow I will deliver you out of bondage. And he said unto Alma, Thou shalt go before this people, and I will go with thee, and deliver this people out of bondage. And he said unto Alma, Thou shalt go before this people, and I will go with thee, and deliver this people out of bondage. Now it came to pass that Alma and his people in the nighttime gathered their flocks together, and also of their grain, yea, even all the nighttime were they gathering their flocks together. And in the morning the Lord caused a deep sleep to come upon the Lamanites, yea, and all their taskmasters were in a profound sleep. And Alma, let's see, whoop, my pens are dropping. Okay, and Alma and his people departed into the wilderness, and when they had traveled all day, they pitched their tents in a valley. And they called the valley Alma, because he led their way in the wilderness. Yea, and in the valley of Alma they poured out their thanks to God, because he had been merciful unto them, and eased their burdens, and had delivered them out of bondage. For they were in bondage, and none could deliver them, except it were the Lord their God. And they gave thanks to God. Yea, all their men and all their women and all their children that could speak lifted their voices in the praises of their God. And now the Lord said unto Alma, Haste thee, and get thou and this people out of this land, for the Lamanites have awakened and do pursue thee. Therefore get thee out of this land, and I will stop the Lamanites in this valley, that they come no further in pursuit of this people. And it came to pass that they departed out of the valley and took their journey into the wilderness. And after they had been in the wilderness 12 days, they arrived in the land of Zarahemla. And King Mosiah did also receive them with joy. Yay! They ended up with actual Nephites. Amazing. Okay, so now we are going to do the reverse highlighting. Oh, this is such good news that they were able to join with the people of the Nephites. So this is Alma and the people's second time escaping from King Noah's priests, right? And I wonder if because they did it the first time that they trusted Alma more, because they knew they could do it. They knew they could do it. Because once you can do something and the Lord shows up for you in a way that, you didn't know before, and then he shows up for you and you're like, what? That's awesome. I didn't know that he would actually help me, right? Then you have like this new trust of the Lord, right? And it's just kind of continues to build your testimony. And I also love that the Lord told them that he would make their burdens lighter, okay, while they were there. But then eventually the Lord was like, yeah, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you, and we will have you leave them now, because they were just abusing and it wasn't good situation, right? And so sometimes the Lord has us stay and endure the abuse. I mean, I'm not saying we need to, but I'm saying like sometimes we feel like we need to stay and endure that kind of treatment. And then other times the Lord's like, I'm taking you out of there. Now, I believe that if they tried to leave at a different time, that the outcome would have been a little bit different. And so sometimes all the time you want to trust the Lord, but sometimes you end up trusting yourself and it works out, and sometimes you end up trusting yourself and it doesn't work out the way you want. So you definitely want to trust the Lord on stuff, so that, because he's on our side, right? Okay, now we're going to do the Book of Mormon page titles. 193 says, Noah's wicked priest Amulon teaches the Lamanites and persecutes Alma. And I'm going to write again. Right? Okay, so Noah's wicked priests. Wait, where is this? 93. Amulon teaches the Lamanites and persecutes Alma again. Here we go. Okay, and then we're going to do this page title over here. Okay, so we're 194 says, Alma and his people escape and go to Zarahemla. Alma and his people escape and go to Zarahemla with King Mosiah. King Mosiah. I know this title was so long, but I had to add that it was King Mosiah. Okay? So, yes, sometimes the Lord strengthens us where we're at. And then sometimes, not sometimes. Sometimes we have to stay where we're at. And then the Lord will strengthen us if we reach out to him. And then sometimes when we have to leave, the Lord will also strengthen us and help us as long as we are including him in all of our plans, right? All the time we need to do what he says because that is the safest place to be. All right, look at our progress. It's really good. Actually, I'm going to write right here that the Lord helps us stay and go. Loving that. Okay, that is it for today. Until Mosiah chapter 25. Stay strong, warrior.